Hey, what's up everyone? GamerGuy7Ace is here, bringing you a special video today as I'm going to delve deep into behind the scenes of Super Swag Bros Z, basically to explain to you all how everything came to be, because I'm sure a lot of you are interested in the making of this, especially that it took 2 years for it to be made. And also that intro you saw, I'm going to explain all that and how that came to be and how I ended up integrating that in Super Swag Bros Z and all that. And also, I also want to talk about other things in this video too, like me starting a Patreon. I'll be starting a Patreon later on this month. And also the mysterious Project R. What is that? What is it going to be? It's going to be huge. It's even going to be bigger than Super Swag Bros. But let's get back to Super Swag Bros. Alright, now, after I post the first one, Super Swag Bros, I had no intention of making a sequel at the time, because I didn't have any idea. That I just wanted it to end on that comical cliffhanger with Goku arriving and Pac-Man shitting cherries. As time went on, the video started gaining a lot more traction, started getting a lot of views, a lot of likes and everything shares. So I was thinking, I should capitalize on this and make a sequel, but I didn't know what it should be. So my first initial idea was for it to be Super Swag Bros 2. And I want it to be like a female version of Super Swag Bros. Basically, I want the stars to be like Bayonetta, Zero Suit Samus, Rosalina, and Zelda to, replace the 4 mascots, which was Mario, Sonic, Pac-Man, Mega Man. Thank God I didn't run with that idea, because if we've learned anything from female reboots like Ghostbusters and all, that is not the way to go. I mean, I was going to make it comical and stuff, and it was going to have Dashi and all that, but I didn't have any story, because I would have completely scrapped the story of the first animation and would have done something completely new, and it would have felt very contrived and pandering. I was trying to pander to, the female audience or whatever with having all female characters, so I decided to just scrap all of that, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Funnily enough, I think that was also the same year the female Ghostbusters movie came, so I was like, that is just bad timing. So then, Dragon Ball Super, the sub version, was deep into the Future Trunks arc, and it was almost done. Then they had this epic fight between Merge Zamasu and Vegito, which, Goku and Vegeta fused. So after seeing that conclusion, that gave me the idea. This was the end of 2016. I was like, I want to make the sequel of Super Swag Bros like this. And that basically inspired me to make the sequel. So at first I thought it was going to be Super Swag Bros 2, and then I eventually came up with Super Swag Bros Z, because it was heavily inspired by Dragon Ball. So yeah, that's basically what inspired me to make the sequel. And because looking back in the comments, a lot of people criticized the first one, saying that it was great until Goku arrived. Goku ruined it. Goku ruined everything. So me, being the stubborn ass I was like, okay, you guys didn't like Goku? I'm going to make him the main star of the sequel. And it's funny because some people were like, yo, that's a bad idea, don't do that. I remember this one dude told me, don't do that, man. People loved the first animation because of Sonic, Mario, Pac-Man, and Mega Man, the 4 mascots. Why would you ruin that, putting Goku, who's not even in Smash, an anime character? Like, why'd you do that? You're not going to get enough views on it. And now look, Super Swag Bros Z is the fastest growing animation. It's actually the fastest growing video I've ever posted on my channel. It's almost at 100,000 views, and it's been less than a month. So this is a lesson to you guys. If you have a great idea and a dream, run with it. Don't let anybody tell you guys different. Don't let anyone doubt you or say that's a bad idea if you know it's going to be a great idea. Because I mean, if everyone complains about something and it's controversial, that means it's going to do good views. So me being a fan of Dragon Ball, that's what I wanted to do. So yeah, so that's basically why the whole animation, Goku and Mewtwo were the main characters. And now let's take this apart act by act. Let's start with Act 1. Now, I definitely wanted to start out the animation with the last time on Super Swag Bros, because, that's reminiscent of Dragon Ball, like last time on Dragon Ball Super or Dragon Ball Z. So basically, it was inspired by DBZ, it was going to have no talking in it, obviously. So that's about it. And I wanted to show that last scene of Super Swag Bros, and, to connect it to the next one, because I thought it would be abrupt for me to just start with, Goku staring down everyone. And also, I wanted more details for the backgrounds for Battlefield because, going back to Super Swag Bros, there's a lot of things that needed to be fixed and polished. A lot of things. Like, if you guys really go back, you guys should go back and watch the first one. For instance, the most obvious is the Battlefield stage is missing all those backgrounds and ruins, because I like the look of Smash Bros. 4. I even like it more than the waterfall backdrop in Smash Ultimate. But there's a lot of details that we added in the sequel that the first one was missing. Like, Sonic's eyes were not green in the first one. That was an artistic decision, but I was like, nah, let's put green eyes on Sonic for the sequel, because this is modern Sonic. And Goku's shoes, if you saw the ending of the first one, they matched his pants color. They were all orange. Mewtwo's tail, Mewtwo was missing his tail in a couple scenes. If you guys go back and look at that, especially the ending, his tail was nowhere to be seen. I remember my animator was like, wow, how could I have missed that, And Pac-Man's gloves were brown when they're actually orange. I totally wasn't even aware of that. And, other things like just a lot of little details, like, the lighting from the grass textures and all of that, and better movements. You can even tell the movements of the last scene of the first one and the first scene of the second one. I wanted to make sure, if we were going to spend a long time on this animation, to pay attention to every single detail. And also, the biggest bait I did in these trailers was Sonic versus Goku. It was a bait and switch tease. It didn't really anger anyone except one person. I remember talking to Bobby. He said Sonic fans are going to be pissed that Sonic didn't fight Goku, but I never really hinted at Sonic fighting Goku. I never stated officially that it's going to be Sonic versus Goku. Even in my April Fool's video, I put Goku and Sonic versus Mewtwo. So that was a misled, but I never said Sonic was going to fight Goku. Many people thought many things. They thought Sonic and Goku were going to fuse and become Soniku or something, or they were going to fight and Sonic was going to win or Goku was going to win, but I just didn't want them to fight. The whole focus was Mewtwo. Mewtwo is the antagonist. He's the villain. He's the bad guy. I didn't want to make Sonic and Goku fight because that would just be random. Obviously, I made Goku zip right past Sonic, and that's the one that angered a bit Sonic fans, because they were like, Sonic is faster than that. The Sonic I'm using in the Smash Bros animation is based on the video game Sonic, not the Archie Sonic where he's overpowered. In Act 2, now when we go to Act 2, now that was always going to be the climax. I wanted a climax very early in the Act 2. Act 3 is always going to be the resolution, so I wanted that to be the climax, and I wanted Mewtwo to have a bigger and better transformation than just his final Smash move being Mewtwo Y. So thank God Pokken Tournament came out and Shadow Mewtwo was a thing, so I was like, hey, let's make Mewtwo Shadow Mewtwo. Already this is called Super Swag Bros. Z. Goku is in it. It's already a parody. It's already going against the rules of Smash, so let's just go balls to the wall. Let's do that. And it's funny, some of the comments I got, people were still angry at the fact Goku was even in the animation, but nobody criticized Shadow Mewtwo. It's like, Shadow Mewtwo's Pokken Tournament. You guys are okay with that, but you're not okay with Goku? It's like, relax, it's just a parody. But yeah, so, Mewtwo versus Goku was always going to be like Frieza versus Goku. You can tell Mewtwo always had that Frieza vibe to him. I wanted Shadow Mewtwo to be the equivalent of a god of destruction, so I beefed up his character to be like Toppo kind of, or Top from the Tournament of Power arc in Dragon Ball Super, to give Goku a bit of a challenge, It wouldn't be interesting if Goku was just dominating everything. And we also added some details, like Lightning told me that there's an evolution symbol that has to be when Mewtwo's changing to Shadow Mewtwo. I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan at all. I think they're kind of fascinating, and I've grown up knowing about Pokemon since its inception when I was in a grade school, but I've just never been a big fan of it. I've collected some of the toys, like, Cubone, Squirtle, Charizard, and all that, but that's about it. But yeah, so we added some details. You can tell, just go back to the first teaser trailer, compare it with the last one, and we added a lot of different details, so I'm very proud of that. Also, if you guys didn't notice, Shadow Mewtwo and Goku, when they fight on Final Destination in Act 2, Shadow Mewtwo's on the side where the stage is all crusty with volcanic fire and ash, and Goku is on the light side where the stage looks normal with the blue streaks, the white lights and all that. Represents good and evil. Shadow Mewtwo, or Mewtwo's on the side of evil, Goku's on the side of good. You know, it's very symbolic, and I definitely wanted to represent that in the animation. Especially how Shadow Mewtwo's colors matches the stage complete, like he's like a very dark purple, almost black, with, you know, fire markings on him. The colors match the stage exactly, so I would be crazy not to put Mewtwo on that side. So I'm sure some of you guys might have noticed that, but it's a very thematic fight. So I'm glad I did that, and I'm glad Shadow Mewtwo exists. And this is also the act where we got extra help from another animator, because it was really hard to do the fight scenes, especially Goku. I didn't even know from his hand movements and everything. It was very, very intricate and super detailed and difficult. Like, huge props goes to those people who make anime on a day-to-day basis, weekly, or the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Like, everyone's saying how awesome that animation looks. They spent a lot of time on that. That's the reason why they had to end the Dragon Ball Super show until they were done with that, because just look how godly that animation looks. So I'm going to show you guys right here. The animation went through several drafts. The Act 2 alone went through like 7 to 10 drafts or something. So like I said, we got help from other animators because this act was the hardest to do, and that is what delayed things longer. If it wasn't for Act 2, the animation would have been done in less than a year, but Act 2 is what caused the huge delay, because the first act was done in a couple months. The third act was actually done within a month as far as animation is concerned. I wanted Goku versus Mewtwo fight to follow the Vegito versus Zamasu fight, so it's supposed to follow their fights pretty similar. Also, I wanted Mewtwo to use his poking movements instead of like Zamasu, so he doesn't really punch and kick. If you notice, he uses more of beams, energy beams, and, you know, psychic powers. And there had to be a beam struggle here. Instead of it being a punch-out struggle, like with Vegito and Zamasu, I wanted it to be a beam struggle. There has to be a beam struggle. It was the epic thing to do. But I wanted to show Mewtwo winning at first, and I wanted to show Goku struggling, then have all the other characters come and help. Because, you know, the earlier draft had both of them just evenly matched, and it ends in a draw with everything just exploding, and everyone's Nintendo Wii U systems just, you know, it will show the whole world, all the Wii U's exploding, and then everything is just a white screen, and then it transitions into the Nintendo Switch logo. But then I thought, because that was supposed to transition to Nintendo Switch, Smash Ultimate is better, right? But I thought, you know, this is kind of lame. You know, I didn't want to end it like that and totally disregarding all the characters that came before. At the end of the day, the 4 mascots of gaming, Sonic, Mario, Mega Man, Pac-Man, they are the stars too. So I wanted them to have a role to play in Act 2. That's why I had all of them come in and help. And that scene was definitely inspired by Gohan. You know, the whole Gohan versus Perfect Cell fight in Dragon Ball Z, when all the other Z fighters helped by throwing energy beams at Cell 2 to distract him and to make him weaker. So basically the whole theme of this was teamwork. I wanted to show that, and, you know, I know that upset some people, but it's like, nah, the characters had to show teamwork. I didn't want to show Goku just one-shotting and owning Mewtwo. Like, no. So that's what happened. I'm very proud of it, and a lot of people love that part. So I really enjoyed it too. That came in the last minute too, like much later on. I was like, you know what? Let's have all the characters come back and have a final showdown and team up with Goku and all that. The real power of teamwork. And then it goes to Act 3. And oh yeah, and also I showed all those characters using their final smashes, except Sonic and Pac-Man. Now Pac-Man, I didn't want him to use his final smash because it would just be a big, you know, Pac-Man mouth. I wanted him to throw his water hydrant because I just thought that would be more cool, and it, you know, the water kind of electrocutes Mewtwo right after Lucas rains down his PK Starstorm on him. It would just make more sense. And then obviously Sonic doesn't really have any projectiles or beams, so I just had him just throw the little chaos spears that he did in, you know, Sonic X. Now let's go to Act 3. Now, fun fact, my character, or GamerGuy7Ace, is me. I used to be the villain for Super Swag Bros. I was originally going to be Mewtwo in the first animation. It was going to be me, you know, just pwning all of the characters, you know, me carrying my fire card and just being completely OP in the game and broken. But I thought, nah, I don't want to. There were many reasons why I didn't want to do that. Number one, I thought it would be cheesy, you know, animating me just beating up all the characters like Mewtwo. Number two, I thought at the time it would be very, very narcissistic of me. So I was like, no, I don't want to do this. Let's make it Mewtwo, especially how Mewtwo was always joked about as being a broken character or more powerful than he needs to be. So I'm like, you know what, let's just have Mewtwo. That's the only reason why Mewtwo was in Super Swag Bros. That could have been me, because there was actually a draft with the previous animator I had before I went with Lightning, a Lightning line, and he actually animated me, you know, in the beginning, coming out of like a fire card and just beating up all the characters. But then we stopped on that, we scrapped that whole thing, and I was like, nah, I don't want to be the star of this, you know, I don't. And yeah, I just didn't want to see myself beating up on Sonic. So then when I went with Lightning Lion, we completely did it over again, and it was Mewtwo. But as we were doing the sequel, I was like, you know, I gotta be in this, because I was originally going to be in the first one. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to make a cameo for Act 3 in Super Swag Bros. Z. Just me chilling in my room, and then I see this Nintendo Switch, I pick it up and play Smash Ultimate, and it transitions from there. That scene was also inspired by, you know, the first promo debut trailer of Nintendo Switch. It shows, you know, the guy chilling with his dog in his room playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Then he goes and picks up the Switch from the dock and starts playing. So that's where I got the idea from. And there's a lot of Easter eggs in this scene if you pay attention to it. I mean, the most obvious one is the Sonic Theory picture frame on my wall. You know, I gotta put that plug in. I gotta plug in the show. And obviously Super Swag Bros, the main shot of the characters about to collide and fight from the first animation that was actually inspired from a picture from Super Smash Bros 4. So I had that, and in the back you can see Dashi XP holding a gun. That was from an animation. It was a Fallout, the previous Fallout, not Fallout 76. I forgot what the previous one was. It called Fallout 4 or whatever? I don't know, but you guys should check out that animation. All of that was all animated by Lightning Lion. He did the intro of my Sonic Theory, he did Super Swag Bros, and also he did Dashi. We just thought it would be cool to put Easter eggs there of his previous works, and also if you notice on Nintendo Switch, on the back of it, it has his signature on the back of the Nintendo Switch. So that's pretty cool, you know. It's pretty great. As we go into the scene, I always wanted to end the animation with a team battle, you know. So I always wanted to do Sega versus Capcom, you know. And we know the Sega characters, Sonic and Bayonetta, and Capcom is Ryu and Mega Man. I always wanted to do that, and obviously I was going to make Team Sega win because I just wanted an excuse to put Bayonetta in the animation, because she was originally going to be in my first draft idea. So I was like, you know what, let's put her in this even though she's not really relevant to the plot. Let's have her team up with Sonic and, you know, beat up on Ryu and Mega Man. Actually, I was going to be a little longer, but we made it short because we were like, you know, we already wasted all this time on Act 2. Let's just wrap everything up in Act 3. And yeah. And if you guys notice, there is no Smash Ball in Super Swag Bros. Z. Kind of like how there's no Chaos Emeralds in Sonic Forces. But yeah, I didn't want to do any repeats of the last one. So that's why I just had Sonic just immediately transform into Super Sonic and kick Mega Man's ass. Some people were like, that's not fair. It's like, hey, look, life is not fair. This is a parody. It's my animation. So yeah, so I really like that scene. And the last scene was going to be the Crash cameo. Because, you know, I did him dirty in the first one. You know, the whole Crash for Smash, and he felt left out. So I always wanted to end Z with Crash getting his own stage, just like, you know, crashing his way or spin attacking his way into battle, and, you know, doing his little Crash dance. I always wanted to do that. That originally was going to be the last scene of the animation. That was going to be the ending, because I didn't want to do another end credit scene because this was the end. So that was going to be the end. But then later on I told Lightning, you know, I don't feel like there's enough closure in this animation. Like, where's Mario? Where's Pac-Man and Goku? What happened to all of them? You know, we can't just end with Sonic and Mega Man and all that. So I was like, you know what? Let's make an extra scene. No fighting in it. We're just going to have the Poke Stadium. We're going to have Mario with the Pokeball, the same Pokeball that was in the first animation, Super Swag Bros, that Mewtwo was from. So Mewtwo, they got him trapped in the... They trapped him back in the Pokeball. And it's kind of like they're playing baseball. Mario's throwing the Pokeball. Lucas hits it with that, you know, item, that KO bat. And he, you know, and the Pokeball goes all the way in space and beyond. And so that's how we wanted, that's how I wanted to end. And he was like, you know, that's a great ending. Let's do that. Because it completely wraps up this whole little parody arc and stuff. I'm so glad I ended it that way. Otherwise, it would have ended with Crash. And, actually, it was my animator's idea who decided to put Inkling Girl because I had no use for her in the animation. But he's like, you know what? Let's put her in this animation and have her look at the Pokeball as it's flying up to, you know, basically to pay homage to debut trailer of Smash Ultimate. So I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's have her do that. So that's the only reason why Inkling Girl is even in this animation or in that scene. Yeah, that's about it. Oh yeah, and Goku, he's in his normal outfit, you know. And I wanted to put him in his normal outfit. If you notice, he has two different outfits. He has his God Key outfit from the Resurrection F Saga and that you see in the beginning, and then in the end he has his traditional key garb. So yeah, that is about it. That is the whole behind the scenes look of Super Swag Bros Z. Hope you guys enjoyed the animation, and I hope you enjoyed hearing my explanations of everything, so you guys can know exactly what went, the passion that went into this and the love that went into this animation. I really enjoyed doing this project. Speaking of projects, got another animation coming along the way. It's very mysterious and I'm not going to spoil it, but it is called Project R. Now, I announced this earlier in the month on Twitter. I've always been talking about Project R on Twitter, but I haven't announced it at all on my YouTube channel, so I'm talking about it now. Here are some of the differences it's going to have compared to Super Swag Bros. It is going to be my first animation with voice acting. So we got a bunch of voice actors for this one. We have about 10 voice actors. I'm not going to name any of them, but a lot of them are people in the community that you know and beyond. So stay tuned for that. I'm planning on it being so big, might even be a series, might not, we'll see. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. I made a poll saying, what is it going to be? Is it going to be a Super Swag Bros spin-off? Is it going to be a rated R project? Is it going to be something about Sonic or not? You know, or something completely different. I want you guys to continue guessing. Well, I will be revealing it little by little starting next month. But if you guys want to support me in my channel and hear more about Project R, you can definitely start donating to me on Patreon. I'm definitely going to start a Patreon now, and that's where I'm going to be putting a lot of my Project R information, because I don't want to be writing about it a lot on Twitter or spoiling it. I feel like I want to play this one close to the chest, or closer to the chest than I did with Super Swag Bros, because that one I just built a lot of hype on that, and I felt bad that I kept delaying it, or it was delayed because of problems and all of that, and you guys were getting impatient. So I want my real dedicated followers and fans to go and donate to me on Patreon. Now I'm going to have different tiers on them. If you like, a lot of people actually comment to me and message me saying, hey, can you give me a shout out? Can you give me a shout out on your video? And you know, I don't want to give anyone special favors. So if you guys want a shout out on any video I make, you're definitely welcome to by donating just $1 to my Patreon. $1, I will give each and every one of you a shout out on my next video, or any big video I do, I will give all of you guys a shout out by crediting your name on my video. It's going to be me posting a lot of things on Patreon before it goes live in public on my channel. So you guys are going to get a lot of extra info, or you're going to get behind the scenes on what I'm making, or like an early look at a script, early look at animation. For instance, this Project R, before I post a trailer on my channel, I will post it on my Patreon, so those people who donate to me will be able to see it early before anyone else. So that's how I'm going to do my Patreon. Hopefully successful this time. It wasn't successful last time because I was a much smaller channel, but hopefully it's successful now because, you know, I switched my networks. I'm not a managed partner anymore. I left Age, went over to Screenwave because bigger opportunities there. But now all my videos are getting claimed all over again. This is like 2015 all over again for me. So I definitely need all the help and support to continue this channel. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you for the help. Thank you for the massive love and support on Super Swag Bros Z. And let's make this year, let's make 2019 a great year. So I'll leave the link to my Patreon in the description below. So take care. And until next time, swag out.